sadness that it has come to this. So many lives will be damaged. So many careers stalled or shattered. Families already working hard to make ends meet, enduring further harm and degradation. Sure, you know, I am thinking of my friends and my colleagues stretching back well over 40 years. Certainly, I'm thinking of the actors I know and have loved, but I'm also thinking of the craftspeople and the designers and the drivers and the stunt people. All of them caught up in this maelstrom of inequality brought about by organized corporate greed. Well, tell you what, the only effective answer to organized greed is organized labor. And at this moment in time, we, the membership, we are what the great Paul Robeson termed the gatekeepers of truth. And at this moment in time, we are civilization's rational voice. Just to get personal for a second, I'll tell you something. Both of my sons are in this industry. Now, neither one of them is an actor. They're both a lot smarter than their old man. My older son, he's a hard-working local 80 Hollywood grip. And you know what? He always works, but not now. And his wife is post-production supervisor on a hit network series, a terrific gig, but not no more. That's done. And the future is the great unknown. I bring this up because on paper, these people are the bread and butter of this industry. They are a working middle-class couple doing their part to keep this business humming. But you want to know what? That was not really the case before the strike. They had to bust their asses just to make ends meet. And now, well, they're in a tight spot. Nevertheless, they understand and they support this strike. My other son produces independent films. Pre-strike, if he was fortunate enough to get a picture set up with a studio, he was invariably relegated to nominal fees that in no measure represented his creative contribution to the project he engendered. He, too, in the best of times, is at the mercy of the unfair forces that are damaging the present and the future of our beloved industry. And yet he too supports this strike. My sons, my friends, and you, my comrades, we are the creative lifeblood of this industry, so let us take heart and counsel from the words of President Drescher. The eyes of the world are upon us. The good hearts and strong arms of organized labor and workers everywhere are in our corner, and we will prevail. Frederick Douglass said, "Power concedes nothing, never has, never will. We are power. We demand. Let us press our demand." On gâté comment. I see you.
Stephen Lang. Check him out quoting Frederick Douglass. That is unity. You know what I mean? Damn. I want to give some more shout-outs to some more wonderful actors and performers we've got here. The fantastic Broadway and television and film performer Leah DeLauria is here. Also from TV World, Judah Friedlander is here. And the wonderful, the improv and comedy queen, Jane Curtin is here. Oh, yes, I know. I'm introducing him next. Okay. I'm making sure everybody gets their proper. All right, our next guest is an American actor and singer. He's appeared in numerous Broadway musicals. He's fantastic. Please welcome Titus Burgess to the stage.
Hey guys, I'm happy to be here. I know it's hot, so I'm going to keep this brief. Take me to the world that's real. Show us how it's done. Teach us how to laugh, to feel. Move us to the sun. A world of skies with streets instead of aisles, where birds that make a sound are birds. Do you want the world? Well then, you can have the world. Ask me for the world, my friends. You can have the world. I'll hold your hands. I know I'm not alone. You can have the world to keep such a lovely world. You'll weep, we shall have the world forever.
I swear to Christ, between Titus singing and those truckers honking their horn, I'm sobbing over here. Okay, our next guest is the Executive Director, New York Local Labor Policy and International Affairs for SAG-AFTRA. It's a long title, but she has a big job. 1 second. Oh, but before I introduce Rebecca Damon, a shout out to Christian Slater, who's here. Oh, and he's going to talk. Sorry, I didn't know that.
No. Hey, it's all what it is. Wow. Love New York. Oh, man. Well, thank you all for including me today, and thank you all for being here. I feel called to support this union that has included me as a member since 1974, which is just shocking and horrifying to me. I was a 5-year-old working actor living with my single mother in subsidized housing right down the block in Hell's Kitchen. I feel called to support actors like my father, who may not be household names, but who deserve to live and die with dignity all the same. My father passed away in November of last year after a long battle with mental illness and a short battle with cancer. He was a working actor and union member for decades. He did over 200 episodes of Ryan's Hope, worked on and off Broadway, and was a background actor in a few movies you'd recognize and some you wouldn't. The last time he worked as an actor was in 1987. He became fully disabled by mental illness after that. Since his death, it's become clear to me how integral union membership was to his dignity and survival. Living with mental illness harmed his ability to accept help, even medical care. A lot of people gave up on him, but his unions never did. He lived off of his SAG and equity pensions. SAG helped him connect with the Entertainment Community Fund when he was finally ready for interventions, and with hospice when he became terminal. Because of SAG, because of real people who work to help our members, my father was able to die with an amount of dignity that he would not have otherwise had. He lived as long as he did because of SAG. In a time of disappearing federal funding for artists, in a time where Hollywood is looking more and more like Wall Street every passing day, an increasingly privatized healthcare system that leaves too many behind, we are all here together to secure fair wages and ensure the survival of our healthcare, our pensions, and our retirement. Our old earning structures are obsolete. As TV episode counts shrink, so too do the employer contributions into the SAG-AFTRA healthcare plan, the SAG pension plan, and the After Retirement Fund. Employer contribution rules haven't changed in 40 years. That's too long, especially with all the changes in our current media landscape. And we can lose track of the human story when we talk about this strike. And I might not seem representative of a fight that many are rightly calling existential for the average working actor, but it's our ability to earn fair wages at every level that allows us to collectively fund a safety net that any one of us might depend on one day. Labor never quits. We never give up the fight, no matter how tough the odds, no matter how long it takes. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Christian Slater. Signs down. Okay. We have another fabulous Academy Award-winning actor that we want to give a shout-out to that I've been honored to work with on the stage. The wonderful F. Murray Abraham.
Hello! I'll make it very brief. Without a union, there is no middle class. Without a middle class, there is no democracy. Unions are good for America. And we're not asking for anything more than anybody who's non-union. Every worker in this country should have these same benefits. We're fighting for this country. We're fighting for integrity, respect, and honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Murray. All right, our next guest, I started to introduce her before, Executive Director, New York Local, Labor Policy, International Affairs for SAG-AFTRA, big title, big job. Rebecca is a former elected leader who was most recently Executive Vice President and New York President of SAG-AFTRA. So please join me in welcoming the hardest working girl in show business, Rebecca Damon.
Hello, is SAG-AFTRA in the house? I don't know if the whole world can hear you. Is SAG-AFTRA in the house? Whoa, what an incredible show of solidarity we have here today. It is so good to see so many of you here today showing up for SAG-AFTRA, showing up for yourselves. We are here in the center of New York because New York is a union down, and we are going to rock this city for that fair contract. I want you to just take a look around where you are right now, in Times Square, the place where the most famous countdown in the world, we can all see the ball, happens every year. When that ball drops, we ring in the new year because we are looking to the future. And that is what this is about. This is about the future. SAG-AFTRA is on strike, not just for today, but because people have to make a living in this industry, and that is what is at stake. Not just for actors, not just for writers, but for the union workers in entertainment who are all around this crowd today. I see IATSE, I see the Teamsters, I see all of our brothers and sisters and siblings in this union. This is for workers everywhere. I see Stewart from RDWASU. Woo! In 2021, there was an economic impact report from the Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment that said the film and television industry and entertainment supported 185,000 jobs 18 billion with a B dollars in wages and nearly 82 billion towards the economic output, and that was in 2019. So I want us to pause for a minute and think about that. Just a little bit of that money needs to go to the people that make this industry run. The actors, the writers, the crew. Unions are about dignity and respect. We are standing here at the crossroads of America, in the crossroads for all of this industry. This is the hot labor summer, and I am so fired up to be here with you all today, with our fellow union leaders, with New York State AFL-CIO President Mario Salento, who's coming up in just a minute, with New York City Labor Council President Vinny Alvarez, and where is he? There he is, Lowell Peterson, the Executive Director of the WGA East. They are on day 85. They are on day 85 of their strike. I want you to write that down because SAG-AFTRA members were out with them on day 1, and on our day 12, we are grateful to the WGA for their partnership. Let's give a big out to WGA, 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 WGA. Together, we are union strong. This industry is together. This is an existential battle. Your existence, our existence, depends on all of us together. SAG-AFTRA strong. SAG-AFTRA strong. SAG-AFTRA strong. SAG-AFTRA strong. SAG-AFTRA strong. Thank you. Woo!
Thank you, Rebecca. Rebecca, in all your years on the board of New York, I've never heard you squeal like that before. It's amazing. It is amazing. Now let me turn this over to a labor leader who's been out in the trenches and on the barricades fighting for writers who create what we bring to life. Give it up for them. Please welcome Writers Guild of America East Executive Director Lowell Peterson.
All right, bringing some Writers Guild to the house as well. It is so wonderful to be here with my brothers and sisters and kin from SAG-AFTRA. You know, you've been with us, as Rebecca said, from day 1 of our strike. That was back on May 2nd. I looked at some pictures recently of the picket lines and rallies back then, and we were all wearing jackets and hoodies. And here we are in the middle of hot union summer, still out, still fighting for what's right, still building solidarity. The solidarity has been inspiring to all of the members of the Writers Guild of America, East and West, in New York and LA and everywhere in between. We feel the power and the magic of standing together and fighting together, the incredible solidarity. We feel this solidarity not just with SAG-AFTRA, but with the Teamsters and IATSE and RWDSU and the teachers and CLC and the State Fed. The entire labor movement is united in this battle, and let's fight together because together we will win this battle. And look, the spirit is great and powerful, but we're not here having a party. We're not here putting on a show. We're here in an epic battle against some of the most powerful and wealthy corporations on the history of the planet. And people are making real sacrifices. You all are making real sacrifices, pay and jobs and opportunity. What is it that actually makes this solidarity possible? What is it that unites us? What is it that has created this incredible bond?
A medic in the back of the field, thank you.
Wow, I hope everyone's all right. Can we get somebody out there? NYPD? We need a medic? Emergency intervention in the back? Where the signs are all pointing. We got it? All right. All right. It is hot. Please hydrate. What is it that unites us? Do we have all the same contract provisions? between all the unions? Absolutely not. Do we have identical goals? No. What it is that unites us is the fact that our members work for the same companies. And our members' work is essential to those companies. The stupendous profits generated by the entertainment industry would simply disappear if there were no writers and no actors and no drivers and no crew. What we are fighting for is nothing less than the survival of our crafts. If the companies continue their refusal to provide sustainable middle-class careers, careers that enable people to focus on your art, on your incredible, valuable, and real skills, then the industry will collapse. We have to get rid of this tech bro paradigm that the studios have brought to the bargaining table. It's really simple. People simply need to be paid enough to make a living. We can't let our members' careers be eroded just because the gigs are shorter and the gaps between gigs are longer and the pay rates are going down and residuals are evaporating. All that's true, and they will continue to happen if we don't fight. And I didn't even bother to mention artificial intelligence, which is a threat to all of us. Look, these tech bros and their studio friends, they are powerful media corporations and conglomerates. They had a strategy. Their strategy was to break us, one union at a time. I think it's fair to say that strategy has failed. We are all here today to prove that. And let me give the message to the CEOs and their hangers-on. Instead of threatening to force us out of our homes, instead of belittling our skills, instead of belittling our proposals and saying we're not realistic, instead of saying, oh, you're all lucky to have a job, how about if you actually wake up and recognize that the model you created does not work? This model does not work. It doesn't work for writers. It doesn't work for actors. And in the long run, it will not work for this industry, because without us, there is no industry. So instead of rejecting all of our basic proposals, which have the simple goal of sustaining middle-class careers, come back to the table. Negotiate with us in good faith. We're here, and we're going to stay here as long as it takes. When we fight, we win. When we fight, all right, solidarity forever. Let's go.
Thank you, Lowell. Everybody, right now, take a moment to please pull out your water bottle, hydrate. If you see somebody next to you that seems like they're having a hard time, help them out. Wipe your sweat. I'm sweating in places I'd rather not mention. You know, take care of ourselves and each other, all right? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you! Oh, my God, I love those horns. Woo! Thank you! All right. Teamsters Local 817 is supporting us. God, that makes me cry. We've got a lion of labor coming to the stage, a man who's led the 2.5 million members of New York State AFL-CIO for more than a decade as president. Welcome, Mario Cilento!
Thank you, thank you. I have one very simple message today. To all of my SAG-AFTRA family, you are not alone in this fight. Your 2.5 million brothers and sisters and family members of the AFL-CIO here in New York are with you. Your brothers and sisters and siblings from public sector unions and private sector unions and building trades unions, upstate, mid-state, downstate, Buffalo to Brooklyn to Long Island, everywhere in between, your fight is our fight. Your fight for dignity is our fight. Your fight for respect is the labor movement's fight. Your fight for justice is the AFL-CIO's fight. And your fight for a fair contract is everybody's fight. We are all in this together. You know, we see the Teamsters, we see the laborers. Right in front of me is Stuart Applebaum, the president of the RWDSU. here from New York and Washington to support you. Let's hear it for Stuart and the RWDSU. We will always stand by you as a movement for two very simple reasons. First, this is a fight for what is right and just and true. And what is right and just and true is that you are the foundation of the entertainment industry. It is your blood, sweat, and tears, your dedication, your commitment, your professionalism, your talent, your skill that makes the rest of us as an audience keep coming back to our screens week after week, month after month, year after year, whether we're sitting on our couch watching the TV, whether we're at our desks and watching on our laptops, or whether we go to that theater and we watch on that big screen, each and every one of you, because of your skill and your talent, you make us laugh, you make us cry, you make us think, and that's why we know, all of us, that actors can never, should never, and will never be replaced by AI. And the last thing is this. The second reason is even more important. And that's because we'll hold. That's labor doing its job. That's what that is. The other reason that we will always stand side by side and shoulder to shoulder with you is because we are a family. And sometimes not everyone understands it outside of this movement. But we are a family at our very essence. We don't have to be blood related to be a family. We don't have to look alike or talk alike or sound alike to be a family. The strength of our movement is not our size, it's our diversity. Our members come from every race and religion and culture and ethnicity and sexual orientation. That's who we are. And a family, the definition, regardless of why we're all together, because we get together for a lot of different reasons, we care about each other, we help one another, we support one another, and we pick each other up when one of us falls down. But most importantly, if you pick on one of us, you have to deal with all of us, 2.5 million strong in this state, 12.5 million strong in this country. That's what this is about. And the studios really didn't count on that. They didn't count on that. So I'll just leave you with this. Always remember, all of the resources of the AFL-CIO will always be at your disposal. We are one text or call or email away from Rebecca Damon to our office that says, this is what SAG-AFTRA needs, and as sure as I'm standing here, you will have it, because that's what family does for each other. So just remember, no matter what they say, whatever they're thinking up there, we will always stand together, because when we stand together and join together and fight together and raise our voices together, we win. Working men and women win. So let's make sure they hear us. Are we going to stand together? Are we going to join together? Are we going to fight together? Are we going to raise our voices together? Stand tall, always stand tall, stand proud, stand united. We are in this fight together and only together, we will win this fight. Thank you. Stay on.
Thank you, Mario. He made me want to go, we are family. We got everybody with me. Everybody, come on. We are family. E-O. We got everybody with me. I've always wanted to do that. Thank you. All right. Now, next up is a true union man and the first Latino president of the New York City Central Labor Council. Please welcome Vinny Alvarez.
What do we want? And when do we want it? What do we want? And when do we want it? So I have one simple message for you today, for all of our brothers and sisters in SAG-AFTRA in this fight. My message is very simple. You've heard some great comments from my brother, Mario Salento, from the New York State Fed, from Lowell Peterson, from so many great leaders of SAG-AFTRA. But the message I have for you is one of support, is one of solidarity, and arguably from the most important city, union city in this world. New York City is a union town. It will always be a union town. We have your back in this fight. We will have your back as long as it takes to get a fair contract. I want you to know one thing, and there's a lot of other unions out there in the crowd today, and they've been on picket lines. It began at the beginning of this year. We were out there with the New York State nurses very early on at the beginning of this year in a fight for a fair contract. And we have had about 50,000 workers here in this city in the past 7 months come out here and fight for their rights. We know that they have earned and they have respect in the workplace, building up these companies and making sure that where these contract negotiations go are going to afford them the dignity, the respect that they have earned and that they deserve. And finally, I just want to say that there are workers. There are workers across this country. There are union workers in this building. There are union workers on the subways and on the buses in this city. There are workers working for the government agencies. They're working in law enforcement. I mentioned the nurses, all the retail workers that I see out there, the communication workers. So many different workers around this city. And they call us up and they say, how do we help SAG-AFTRA out? How do we help the Writers Guild out? How do we help these unions that are out on strike? And it's real simple. We have your back. We have your back today. We have your back as long as it'll take to get that fair contract. Because we know that these employers that are out there that are making millions and millions of dollars on the backs of each of you are gauging how much we can stay together. And New York City is a union town. It'll always be a union town. And as goes this city, so goes this country. So we have one message for them. We will stay with you as long as it takes in this fight, whether it's 1 day, whether it's 1 month, whether it's 1 year. We're not going away. We will be with you in this fight. Stay together. Stay strong and don't give up. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinny, for your service to all these union workers. And it's really important that he mentioned that. That just gives you an idea of how many of us can connect and be together. Thanks, Vinny. Our next speaker is a wonderful actress, an acclaimed actress and playwright, one of the stars of The Bear. Please welcome Liza Colón Zayas.
Yes. SAG-AFTRA strong, y'all. I have been in SAG since 1994. I have struggled for 30 years to finally get here, only to find that my residuals have dwindled exponentially. And to quote the great Snoop Dogg, who supports us, he said, "We, the artists, our gripe is that we deliver in high numbers, in major numbers, and yet, where the fuck is my money?" And so now I know if you can announce the highest viewed this and the highest profits in that, then you can track our residuals. So we need to come to the table, but we need to come to the table in good faith that there will be transparency in how we are being paid by streaming. We need you to open the books. And so, AI, you do not, we cannot, it's now or never, we cannot allow our images to be scanned, for our voices to be copied without informed consent and compensation. If not now, then never. Thank you all.
Thank you, Liza with a Z. That's right. Make sure to hydrate, signs down. Everybody take care of everybody. Let's welcome another star of stage and screen, 3-time SAG Awards nominee, talented singer-songwriter. I've heard her sing. She's beautiful and she's wonderful. Jill Hennessy!
The fabulous Nancy Giles, everybody. Wow. Oh my God. Let me share a little secret with you guys. You are never gonna get speeches like this from a digital replica. Okay? I gotta say good morning to you beautiful, talented, generous, loving, gypsy-souled SAG-AFTRA members. Thank you so much for your presence, for your voices, and for standing up for fair wages for not just us, for all workers. Now, I gotta say, I stand before you today as a proud thespian, okay? And a proud thespian who, as this speech will evidence, is in desperate need of a great writer. Which is why we are all very proud to march with the Writers Guild of America. God bless you all. It has been such an honor to walk the streets and picket with you. Yes, thank you. Woo! I have been so privileged to walk and march beside people who gave me my first breaks in this business, whose words were such a privilege to utter from my lips. So thank you all. And then to look out this sea of all of you gorgeous people and say, I know you. I worked with you 20 years ago, baby. You were fabulous. And Esapatha Murkison, I'm thinking of you right now. Okay. I love this woman. But that's what happens. And like Mario said, we're family, guys. Siamo familia. Sí. Estamos juntos. Oh my God. I'm also very proud to say that I started off in this industry as a background actor. Do we have any background actors in the house? Yeah. We see you. We appreciate you and what you do. And what's happening to background actors right now is kind of representative of what's happening not only in our business, but across a varied field of labor workers. Okay? We're seeing basically the devaluation of the artist at large. We are seeing the reduction, in the case of background actors, the reduction of artists to digital replicas, to scanned images with no compensation and no informed consent, real informed consent. So that's why I got to thank you guys for showing up here, for using your beautiful voices, speaking out loud. We got to stay on this together. So thank you to everybody who's been walking the picket lines in 90-degree heat. Thank you to all the volunteers at SAG-AFTRA, Writers Guild of America, and to the dude who brings his boombox and plays fantastic disco. Thank you. And you fabulous one on the snare drum. God bless you. Okay? Thank you. And in the words of Bruce Springsteen, no retreat, baby, no surrender.
Thank you, Jill. I feel like I want to say, and in the words of, so, in the words of Malcolm X, by any means necessary. All right. And in that spirit, I want to introduce our next speaker, Wendell Edward Pierce. Actor, businessman, trained at the Juilliard School. He rose to prominence as a character actor, portraying roles on stage and screen, and a Tony nominee, and a wonderful guy. Please put your hands together for Wendell Pierce.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll take the advice of my mama. She said, always respect the 5 B's. Be brief, brother, be brief. But when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. We are on the right side of history. And I come here not only as an actor, but more importantly, a union man. I always support the unions because there's history here. There's blood in the fields. There's blood in the fields. I'm from Louisiana, off the banks of Bayou Lafourche, a small town of Thibodeau. Sugarcane workers toiled in the fields a generation ago, newly freed, making $1 a day. Could not rent the land or own the land they worked on. They organized, and they came together with solidarity, and they were succeeding. They knew they could not be replaced, that they were skilled laborers, that what they did had value and worth. And in return, those landowners murdered them in a massacre of 60 people in Thibodeau, Louisiana, on the banks of the Bayou Lafourche, where I'm from. I stand here in the shadow of the men and women who gave the ultimate sacrifice because there's blood in the fields. This is no small matter when you become a union member. So in the memory of all those men and women whose blood and life and sacrifice, they gave the ultimate sacrifice so that we can be here today, stay together, because a union, unified, can never be defeated. When we fight, we win. And as an actor, I remember the words of a great writer, Mr. Beckett, who said in Waiting for Godot, "At this place, in this moment of time, all mankind is us. Let us do something while we have the chance before it's too late."
Preach, Wendell, preach. Next up, she's been standing by the side and preaching and calling and responding to everything that's gone on up here. She's part of the negotiating committee. She's been a national board member, native New Yorker, star of stage, screen, Broadway, and my friend Michelle Hurd. New York, let me hear you. Yes! I'm a native New Yorker, and I couldn't be more fucking proud to stand with you all right now in this moment. My name is Michelle Hurd, and I'm an actor. And if you don't know my name, you could say I'm that actor on that show. I represent part of this 160,000 strong members of SAG-AFTRA. All of our voiceover actors, singers, dancers, broadcasters, background artists, principal actors, all of us strong standing here fighting for our working living. If you see me on those many different shows, it's because I am hustling. I am hustling to pay my bills, to put food on my table. I'm not living no lavish life. This is a working union here. We are laborers. You know, Christian Slater just told his when he got his SAG card, I just looked at mine, 1988, y'all. All I can say is moisturizer, okay? What we're doing here is a pivotal moment. It's like a microcosm of what's happening in the world. The divide between the rich and the the people who are, I don't even want to say poor, we're just deserving, is getting broader and broader, and we cannot let that happen. We represent labor. We represent union. Seeing you all here, I mean, New York showed up. Showed up. The fact that we have, in order to get our insurance, it makes $26,000 a year. $26,000. And 87% of us can't qualify for health insurance. That's $26,000 a year, and we can't do that. 98,000% of us are below the minimum. That's 160,000 people. 98% are struggling. This is wrong. Many people have asked me, when will this strike end? You know what? It could end today. All that has to happen is the AMPTP needs to show up and bargain fairly. I love that Stephen Lane gave a quote from Frederick Douglass. I am a daughter of civil rights activists. I would be remiss if I didn't. So in the sacred words of John Lewis, do not get lost in a sea of despair. Be hopeful. Be optimistic. Ours is not the struggle of a day, a night, a week, a month, or even a year. Ours is the struggle of a lifetime. Never be afraid to make some noise. Necessary, and to get into trouble. Necessary trouble. Good trouble! Union strong, y'all. And you guys, I need to tell you this. For 3.5 weeks, I've stood in a room with some of my fellow negotiators here. Ezra Knight, Linda Powell, Michael Gaston, Aaron Avis, Jack. Some other people are up here, I can't even remember. And we were fighting for you guys. And to see you all show up for this, for us, because we are you, makes me so emotional. I am invigorated, and I'm ready to do this as long as it takes. Thank you all for being here. And I couldn't be prouder. First of all, I have to tell y'all, the AMPTP, they weren't expecting Fran Drescher. You throw some true East Coast up in there, and they're like, what? But one of the most amazing people that I've ever met, an incredible man, husband, father, person, our national executive director and head negotiator, Duncan Crabtree Ireland. I've been blown away by this man. Every single day, he has shown up and fought for every single one of us. And I got a crush on him, I'll tell you, a good one. Thank you, New York! Union strong!
Wow. Well, when they told me that I was going to have to follow Michelle Hurd, I thought, well, that's not a good thing for me. But who among these amazing speakers could I possibly follow? First of all, Michelle, thank you for your commitment, and thanks to everyone that you see up here. Michelle pulled out her union card, and I wonder, before I start, if I could ask all of the SAG-AFTRA members in this audience, if you've got your membership card, or even if you have it on your phone, can you do me a favor, hold it up for just a minute. We want to grab a picture of all of you, along with everyone who's here, showing their union solidarity. So I'm giving you a second, because I know you got to pull. This is beautiful. This is so beautiful. Raise them high and proud. This is amazing. That's awesome. That is why we're SAG-AFTRA strong. Can you say it with me? SAG-AFTRA strong. SAG-AFTRA strong. SAG-AFTRA strong. SAG-AFTRA strong. So you know, your negotiating committee, led by President Fran Drescher and a bunch of people who are here today that Michelle just mentioned, alongside your negotiating staff, we sat there and negotiated with the AMPTP for 35 days. We negotiated over the July 4th weekend. We negotiated on weekends, holidays. We were there to make a deal. If you looked at our proposals, you know we were there to make a deal. They were on the internet. Take a look at them. But when we got to June 30th, that negotiating committee said, you know what, we're going to give what they asked for, another 12 days for us to try and bargain and make a deal, because we didn't want to have to be on strike. But what happened? We spent 12 extra days negotiating with them to no avail. Look at what they said in response to our proposals. Look at it online if you haven't seen it. Fran and I talked to the CEOs of 3 of the studios on the last day of bargaining on July 12th. And we said, here's all you have to do to make sure there's no strike. All you have to do is make this fair deal. And their response was no. Just like their response to so many of our proposals that we've said are essential for actors being treated in a respectful and fair way is no. Do actors get to have minimum wage increases that keep up with inflation? No. Do actors get to have a share of the streaming revenue that has been created because of their faces and their voices on these new platforms, these new businesses these companies are creating? No, we don't even want to talk about it. Are they willing to give actors true informed consent about the use of their own face, voice, body, likeness in the creation of artificial intelligence, digital doubles of them? No. So you have to understand that this strike is the result of big corporations who refuse to treat our members fairly, and it's not okay, and we are standing up and we are saying no to that. You know, in the 12 days that we've been on strike, more than 50,000 SAG-AFTRA members and allies have been out on picket lines, in rallies around the country. Here in New York, we're having the first big rally of this strike, but just a few days ago in Atlanta, they had a rally with more than 1,000 members of SAG-AFTRA showing up in Atlanta. We've had thousands of members on the picket lines in LA, on the picket lines here in New York, around the country, Chicago, New England, everywhere. It's important to know this is a united membership. This is a united membership who are standing together and are saying no to an unfair deal, are saying no to disrespect from these companies. We have incredible allies in solidarity. The Writers Guild has been on strike for more than 80 days. Thousands of SAG-AFTRA members have been out on the picket lines with them. Yeah, let's give them a round of applause for their courage. That's right. And they are fighting for a lot of the same principles that we are fighting for. They are fighting for fairness, economic justice for their members, just like we are. They're fighting for protections against an unfair implementation of AI that's going to threaten to take away writers' jobs. And we're fighting that same problem. So that's what keeps us strong. It's our unity, it's our solidarity. You know, last week you may have heard that one of our signatory companies, one of the companies, the studios we're fighting against, Netflix, had an earnings call. You may have heard about this. Their operating profit is up $1.8 billion. That's right, $1.8 billion. Profits for the last 12 months are up $5.6 billion. And their streaming service has added 5.9 million subscribers. Now, I'll admit their stock price dipped a little bit this week. There may be various reasons for that. But, you know, their stock is still up 44% year to date and 94% in the last year. So I think they're doing okay. When CEOs tell us that it's unrealistic for us to expect that actors can keep up with inflation, that actors can make at least as much in 2023 as they made in 2020, or based on their proposal, in 2026, that you can make as much as you made in 2020. That's not unrealistic. That's just fair. You know, before the AMPTP walked away from the bargaining table, and make no mistake, they walked away from the bargaining table. We may be on strike, but I said to them on July 12th, we are ready to continue talking tomorrow and every day after until we reach a deal. And I've said that every day since, to the media, to them, to anyone who will listen. SAG-AFTRA is ready, willing, and able to return to the bargaining table. The only reason we aren't there right now is because those companies said that they didn't want to deal with people who are uncivilized, and because those companies said they wouldn't be ready to talk for quite some time. So we reject that. That's right. That's exactly right. But, you know, we made a very reasonable proposal to share in the revenue from the streaming platform that's been created because of you, all of you. And their response to that was, we're not interested in discussing that. And now the AMPTP is trying to claim that their last contract offer to us is worth over $1 billion a year, which is not true at all. But the fact is, none of their spin is going to trick anyone. It's not going to fool you, and it's not going to fool anyone else out there. When they say they would have agreed to our informed consent proposals on AI, well, you know what? Great. I wish they would have. Because what? I was going to say no to that if they agreed to it? No. Their idea of informed consent is you come in on the first day of work, or even before you get hired, and you have to agree in advance that you're going to let them do whatever they want with your digital replica. That's not real consent. That's bogus. It's not legitimate. By the way, we've talked a lot about how this affects background actors, and rightly so, because background actors would be abused under their proposal. But you know what? It's not only a proposal for background actors. They made the same proposal for franchise projects. So any principal performer out there who thought, oh, wow, I might have a chance to get on a Marvel movie. Well, you know what? That job could be your last, because they can tell you that if you want that job, you have to agree. You have to agree to give your consent for them to use your digital replica forever with no additional consent and no additional compensation. And that is wrong. You know, collective bargaining is what we're doing. Collective bargaining is how everything meaningful has happened in the world of work, the workplace world in this country. That's how the weekend came to exist. That's how UPS drivers are going to get air conditioning in their trucks so they're not passing out in the middle of making deliveries in the summer. And it's also how we are going to make sure that actors and everyone else in this country doesn't have their image, likeness, voice, face stolen by these companies and used without their permission and without fair compensation. And until these companies come to the table and make a fair and respectful deal, we are going to continue to be on the strike lines. We are going to continue to say no to an unfair use of their power to try and coerce us into accepting something that's wrong. And if you've ever benefited from an 8-hour workday, weekends, holiday pay, anything like that, then you know unions are how those things come to pass. Unions are how we make them happen. Exactly. Thank you, Teamsters. Woo! There comes a time when you have to stand up for what's right. And that time is now. We cannot wait. We cannot delay. We cannot wait 3 years to see what AI is going to do. We can't have a meeting once a year to talk about it. We can't wait for these changes that are absolutely necessary for our members. For SAG-AFTRA members, fairness and respect, we cannot wait. We will stand strong. SAG-AFTRA 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 strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Duncan Crabtree Ireland, our National Executive Director and Chief Negotiator. Before I bring up our next speaker, I want to give a shout out to another wonderful actor and speaker and advocate. The wonderful Hill Harper is here. Next up, I want to introduce our special guest. He's a terrific actor who's going to say a few words and introduce our final speaker. You know him, you love him. Friends and allies, Steve Buscemi!
How do you do, fellow actors? I'm not on social media, so I'm not going to post that. So just give me your numbers. I'll text you all. It may take me a little while. Oh my God, I am so honored to be with all of you today. I'm an actor. I love being an actor. I've been fortunate to work with a lot of talented people on this stage, and just by virtue of living in New York and working here for the past 35 years or so, I know I've worked with many of you, and I'm so grateful for what you do. Like I said, I'm just so proud to stand with all of you today. Nobody wanted this, but we are here because so much is at stake, right? I mean, you've heard it more eloquently from the people before me, but yes, fair pay, revenue sharing, health care, retirement funding, a fair casting process, AI protection, and fair compensation. These are not unusual or unreasonable things to ask for. They are, in fact, essential. So we are here because this moment is crucial. We stand together strong for ourselves and with our fellow union members of the WGA. Writers got to write, actors got to act, and the AMPTM has got to do right by us. It's only fair. Thank you. It's such an honor to be here with you all. And now it is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you our final speaker. He's an actor, producer, director. He's won many awards. You know him, you love him. But more importantly, he's a fucking great guy, and I'm so proud to know him. Please welcome Bryan Cranston.
Hello! I'm going to be very quick, just a 3 hours, and then we'll wrap it all up. Thank you all for coming out today. We're overjoyed to be on this stage looking out at all this energy of love and togetherness and unionization. Thank you very much. And thank you also to the Writers Guild, IATSE, and the Teamsters. Thank you for supporting us. We will support you. You know, there's been a lot of conversation about the differences between the AMPTP and what SAG-AFTRA is looking for in our compensation, in this contract. But there is one thing that we all agree on, even they agree on it, and that is our industry has changed exponentially. We are not in the same business model that we were even 10 years ago. And yet, even though they admit that that is the truth in today's economy, they are fighting us tooth and nail to stick to the same economic system that is outmoded, outdated. They want us to step back in time. We cannot and we will not do that. What we have put forth in the negotiations is not unreasonable. It is not unfair. And I find it very, very ironic that we are all gathered here today in unity in front of an entity that is run by Disney. And now we've got a message for Mr. Iger. I know, sir, that you look through things through a different lens. We don't expect you to understand who we are, but we ask you to hear us, and beyond that, to listen to us when we tell you we will not be having our jobs taken away and giving to robots. We will not have you take away our right to work and earn a decent living. And lastly, and most importantly, we will not allow you to take away our dignity. We are union through and through, all the way to the end. Thank you. God bless you. Stay together. We will win this fight. God bless you.
Bryan Cranston, keeping it real. Thank you so much, Bryan. Thank you, everybody. And in closing, I just want to say the acting profession is special and it's worth fighting for. Same for the writers, special and worth fighting for. Thank you all for fighting for all of us. Thank you to the signers who are here doing a great job, by the way. Thank you to everyone who showed up for every horn honk we got. Keep an eye on how the stock prices are going up. That's our earnings we're talking about. That's us. Bob Iger, you used to be my boss when I was on China Beach. You have a heart, so remember that you have a heart. We're talking about sharing in the wealth, all right? Not greed. I am so proud to walk beside you in this journey. My name's Nancy Giles, SAG-AFTRA member since 1983. Thank you and God bless you.
Could you unhook the first one? No, first. First. Thank you so much.
SAG-AFTRA members, you are rock stars. Thank you for coming out. We have to clear the plaza. Everybody, exit this way carefully, slowly, and caring for each other. No rushing. Time to go. Thank you, guys. Thanks for coming out. All right, exit at the back of the plaza, please. Thank you so much, SAG-AFTRA. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Make sure you take your trash with you. Take
Would you be willing to do a quick interview about why you're here? Yeah?